Hello and welcome to Last Time On. This is the podcast for people who want to watch all this prestige television, but who's got time for it?
I know I don't.
I definitely don't have time right now. I'm actually on a double date right now with my girlfriend and her ex-boyfriend. They left for the bathroom like 20 minutes ago, so should be back any minute now. So we're gonna have to cut this cut this short here. So
that's awkward, Vic. I'm sorry. I'm Xhafer.
I am Ben.
I am Victor.
And we're here today to do our Shameless Go Back. If you've been listening along, we raced through Shameless. Laura recapped it with us last week. And now we're going back to watch the episode that she recommended. I believe Beth had some input in there as well. Season 2, Episode 6, Can I Have a Mother? That's what we're here today. Now that we've got context of what actually happens in this fucking show, besides our random guesses, we get to watch one more. That's what we're doing today.
Yeah, this is a great episode, I have to say. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
This was a dense episode for sure.
Yeah, a lot happened.
Oh, my
I don't
God.
know if it felt longer because I actually watched the Last Time On bit at the beginning of the episode. Fuck it.
You did? Hey, okay,
Well, I
cool.
mean, hey, no blood, no foul now, right? It's done. So, yeah, I watched it, and I'll tell you what. I don't think watching any of these would have helped us at any point. Because, fuck, those things move at just a breakneck. Breakneck. Thank you.
Yeah.
Those things just move at a breakneck speed. And I will tell you what, I felt like I had no idea what was going on, despite having seen some of the scenes in the episode that we watched that was 2 episodes before this.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I watched... I've been binge watching this whole series since we recorded our final scorekeeping episode, and I still forgot a bunch of shit was going on. I was like, Karen's pregnant. Whose baby is it again? I don't remember. Who knows?
Well, at this point, we think it's Lips.
Right.
So we open.
It's a lot.
Go ahead. Yeah.
I was about to transition out, Ben. You're good.
All right. So we open back in daycare craziness. That was fun.
Little Debbie is
kids.
back. Tiny little Debbie. She's so small and innocent again. And it's crazy to think that we watched this show in fast forward, of course, but it's crazy to think that these actors, like Debbie and Carl, how they literally grew up on this show. That's pretty wild to think about.
11 seasons.
Yeah.
And she hears some noise outside and sees Nurse Ratched being dropped off.
I wrote down Kai Wynn gets delivered to the front door. She popped out of the wormhole finally.
Man, kudos for playing a worse character than Kai Wynn somehow.
Somehow worse. God,
I guess that's what Shameless is like. Hey, do you have an Oscar? Do you want to play the biggest piece of crap you've ever played? Welcome! Shameless is for you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Wow, she was just... Louise Fletcher, God, she was just such a treasure. Yeah. She knows how to play a villain, man. That's...
For sure. She immediately goes up to the bathroom and has Carl fetch her a hammer and crowbar. We find Steve with Estefania.
Yeah.
And there is a big communication barrier here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Steve yanks some money out of the hotel room safe, it looks like. Just wads of cash.
Yeah, as Granny does the same with a hidden wad of cash, finger, and gun.
Oh, yeah, the finger in the jar. I don't think that ever gets explained in this episode.
Well, so I'm going to ask you, Vic.
Oh.
Actually, no, because you've been watching the show, so I'm going to ask you, Xhafer. What happened to her?
What the hell happened to her? Can't explain.
But I got the van.
I don't remember where the finger came from either. So
that finger is not a finger.
What?
Ooh.
Oh, no.
It is
Oh,
no, Vic.
It's not a lap
it's
pinky?
It's a toe. It's a very long toe, and it is Frank's. Because we never see Frank without his shoes on. I mean, I'm sure that you probably do at some point in the show, but we, as far as I recall, never saw Frank's abnormally long toes, and that he was missing one.
Creepy. He's got sloth toes, you're saying?
That Granny Gallagher kept in case she needed to remind him.
See, I'm going to say that this is actually the finger of the person she pushed out of the meth business when she became a meth queen pin. And she kept it as like a trophy.
Yeah.
Yeah. It reminded me of Fallout 3 about, I couldn't remember if it was the good or the evil perk, where you could turn in fingers as a bounty.
That is the good perk. The evil perk is you turn in ears.
That's right. That's fun, yeah.
Yeah, when you're a good guy and you take the perk and you join the regulators.
Buenos dias, shitheads.
We
then cut over to life insurance.
Yes.
Yeah, Sheila and Frank are setting up a buffet table in Sheila's bedroom. Mm-hmm. Because this is back when Sheila still had agoraphobia and she wants to hold the wedding reception in the bedroom.
In the bedroom.
Yeah, it seems that the airplane engine has really caused things to revert. She will not leave her room.
Karen walks in with a fish.
Fishes,
Yeah. She wants to cook them in the bathtub.
Yeah,
I'm sure
she was going to clean them in the bathtub.
There's got to be a TikTok video out there somewhere on how to cook a fish in the bathtub. So I'm going to look that up.
Yeah, this was a lot. Carl goes and wakes up his older sister as Steve pays someone off.
That's Tony.
Yeah,
the cop.
Tommy.
Yeah.
I thought it was Tommy. Tony, who knows? I didn't catch his name either. He's boring cop guy. But yeah, he's I think we saw him. He's the same guy we saw in the very first episode.
Yep.
Who brought home drunk Frank, dragged him in.
And he is a Markovich. They say he's got Officer Markovich, as he says his name, when the cops all show up at the end. Milkovich, not Markovich.
No.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna look that up. There's no way he's a Milkovich. Markovich, I believe.
Maybe I misunderstood. It would not be the first time. Anyways, Granny goes to the bank for a lockbox, but it is empty. Mm-hmm. Steve and Lip quickly catch up as we learn from Fiona that Granny Gallagher used to have meth labs with an S until one exploded.
And,
killing 2 college students.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's why she was carted off to jail for life. Yep.
I checked it real quick. It is Markovich, not Milkovich.
So I was
very
right.
confusing. Yeah,
it's Markovich. I wrote it down right. I just got confused at what Nikki's last name was.
Yeah.
Well, it's very close.
Yeah. Hey.
There's a rule about that in writing that you're not supposed to make character names similar like that, to confuse people, which apparently George R.R. Martin just wiped his ass with those notes when he was making House of the Dragon. But I digress. I could go on about that.
Well, but also it does add a certain verisimilitude of like, hey, you do live in places where people have very, very similar names.
Yeah.
Sure.
Unless you're Xhafer.
Steve wants to get lunch with Fiona, and Fiona thinks that is not a good idea.
Because it's
She
not.
It is not a good idea. She does the
bad.
classic, come up with an excuse to not do the thing rather than say that's a bad idea, when she should have just said it was a bad idea, because it's a bad idea. And she
Yeah,
knows
I
it's
used to do
bad
that a lot
idea.
when I was younger. But now I've just, maybe just as you get older, you just quit giving a fuck. But if someone invites me to do something I don't want to do, I just say, nah, I don't want to do that.
Yeah,
It's so
I'm
much
good.
easier.
That sounds fun. Have a good time.
That sounds fun, but not for me. Sounds fun
Yeah.
for you. Sounds miserable for me.
Granny tracks down a Dr. Pitts before going to the alibi to see Frank.
Dr.
who
Pitts,
is-
I didn't write down the name of the actor, but he played God on Supernatural.
Oh, yeah. He did, didn't he?
Yeah.
That's
fun.
fun.
Fun to see him again.
Frank is shocked to see his mother. Lip is up on the roof. This is the first time we've seen him up on the roof. Do you think this is something that happened often? Vic?
I actually don't remember. I just wrote down the Lip brooding on a rooftop. Reminded me of
Frank's dumb shit starts getting me down, and life is just too much for me to take up on the roof.
Ben, man, you got some pipes, brother. You weren't joking.
Did you guys notice what Frank was reading when Louise Fletcher came to visit him?
No,
I
what was
believe
he-
it was macroeconomics for dummies.
Investing for dummies.
Investing for dummies. Okay.
Yeah, because he is trying to figure out what they're going to do with the life insurance from Sheila's dead husband.
Yeah.
And she's just like, hey, leave it alone. And he's like, I am Frank. I'm incapable of this.
This is, I think, Frank's play for the last little bit here was to get this life insurance money.
Right.
As
The whole reason
reveals
he
at the
moved
end
in
of the
with
episode.
Sheila. Yeah.
Yeah. Kev is right to be wary to lend his truck and should have just trusted his gut.
Yeah. I like that he told Grandma Gallagher to fuck off when she wanted to borrow the truck. But she bribed him, which, I mean, she's got all this money. Why don't they just go rent a fucking car?
Right.
Well, I'm guessing neither of them would pass a credit check.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
I forgot about Kevin's bass player in Korn era.
Oh, with his hair?
His jet black hair down to his shoulders. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it. I like that look.
You think I could pull that off again?
No. Which,
Okay.
by the way, I wanted to ask you, how old is that photo that you guys posted in Discord?
Let's not
from
talk about
your LARP days. Oh, come on.
That photo, I want to say, is probably 6 to 8 years old.
Something like that.
Holy
yeah.
crap.
Yeah, that's not even like that. That was like skirmish fighting. It got me on a little bit of a nostalgia trip. I was looking at old photos today, and there's photos of us in like large groups fighting. Like,
Nice.
we've been on like multiple 100 people versus 100 people foam battles.
Wow.
Like,
I've
it
always
gets
been
intense
interested in that
sometimes.
stuff, but surprisingly, I could never find large groups here in Texas. And now I'm
There
sorry.
are
I'd
some.
probably get my
I mean,
ass kicked badly.
Or there
I need to-
were some.
Yeah, I
we're
don't
kind of
know.
out of the game now. The game we
I've
played
been retired for 5-6 years at this point.
imploded and never switched
Yeah.
over, and I have a kid now. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's
My neck is paper mache, so no more of that for me.
There's a movie that I've got on DVD called Dark On. That's like a little mini documentary
Oh.
about one of the.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, dude,
Yeah,
that's-
Dark On.
Yeah. That's so
Yeah, I
cool.
put on my G headband. Yeah.
I don't know what that means, but cool. Sounds cool.
That was a joke that we used to make about Darkon because Darkon has magic and they had a giant size spell, and so you'd put on your G headband and everyone would have to get on their knees around you because you were a giant.
That's so annoying.
And so whenever we talk about Darkon, we're always like, I put on my G headband because I want. I don't know why that stuck in particular out of their rule book, but that was the joke we always made about them.
What looked really cool, no, I don't know how this works, but it looked like they'd have people set up the game and go plant little. It looked like, this is just what the impression that I got. It looked like they would plant little flags or little tokens or something around the area, and they would be like hidden almost, and they were magic herbs that you could go collect and find or some shit. I don't know.
They did shit like that. We never
seems
played
so
that
fucking
game.
cool.
That game was like very fantasy magical stuff.
Yeah.
The game that we played was by no means realistic,
Right.
but was a non-magic.
Yeah.
So it was just like you get hit in the arm, you lose your arm. You get hit in the
Right.
torso, you're dead. And that was effectively it. Headshots didn't count to discourage people from getting hit in the head because no one's wearing neck or head protection. Which,
okay.
man, you know what I could have used in my 20s? Some fucking neck protection because I wouldn't have the fucking problems I've got now.
Listeners, join the Discord if you want to see these epic photos.
yeah, Victor put put Xhafer and I in front of some epic charges. Well, from 2 movies.
Right. Yeah. I was in Insomnia the other night, and I was like, man, just the look on you guys' faces are just so focused and fierce. I was like, this is badass. I got to do something with this.
I know exactly when that photo was taken. Like, I remember that bit because I'm armed.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm spear fighting. I've got a back shield on, and my arm's behind my back because someone hit me in the arm.
Oh.
And
So
that
you
was
lost your
during a Daggerath, which was the big fight at the big meetup every year between all the different groups. And we were out there repping our unit and realm.
Awesome.
And that was one of the years we kicked a bunch of ass.
Oh yeah, we won several years in a row.
Yeah. I think now about how good we used to be at that stuff. Because we were real good for a bit there. The fonder days of our youth.
Yeah.
Remind me at STLV, I have a LARP tattoo.
Oh, I got to see that.
It's nothing special. It's the tree that was the group. But
Oh, cute.
anyways,
Well, thanks for
Lip.
listening to LARP TO.
It's just a new podcast. It's just Ben and I reminiscing about LARP shit for 4 hours. It's just
that-
us by a campfire. It's the authentic experience of what happens.
Nice.
V and Fiona discuss who Fiona should take to her double date, and neither of them say no one because you're not fucking going, which is
Right.
the big fuck up here. Lip goes to the bodega to fill Ian in on Granny's arrival. Ian refuses to speak to him, and Lip handles it super well. He's so well adjusted, guys. Nothing bad happens here.
Yeah, Lip.
Well, and see, so Lip should know better. He goes around and starts smashing fruit, and everybody
a-
knows Gallagher's smashing fruit is so passé at this point.
You beat me to it. Yeah, when he smashes the watermelon on the floor, I
Yeah.
wrote down he literally pulls a Gallagher, makes a fruit salad on the floor of the bodega, to which Ian gives no fucks at all.
Peggy goes to see Frank at Sheila's. When Sheila goes upstairs to get him, he is making a Rapunzel-esque train of sheets to crawl out of the window.
Which he tries to say, oh no, I was just airing them out because he wet the bed the night before.
Yeah, and that was after Grandma Gallagher, when she found out that Frank didn't even have a car, calls him a bedwetting excuse of a son. And that night he actually wets the bed. Oh God, that was
Now, one thing it seems like Sheila is like annoyed at this, at the level of this has happened before, but I don't think this is Frank is just drunk and pees himself. I think seeing his mother has made him regress.
Yep, that's exactly it.
For sure.
It's a
100%.
visceral reaction of him seeing his fucking horrible ass mother again.
Ethel's sister wives come to share the news that their husband has died in the American prison.
And
They're all
Kevin
in
has some
black
really
and
good
mourning.
righteous indignation here.
Sure does. He's there for Ethel in a way that someone needs to be.
I really
Yeah.
like Papa Bear Kevin.
Yeah.
I feel like Kevin, strangely enough, is probably the most good person, the morally just person on the fucking show, even though he's dumb as a brick. His heart is in the right place. Out of all the main characters, I think.
Well, and this is before he's
really
gone
weird.
full he isn't full labradoodle yet.
Yeah.
But Victor, I do have a question for you.
Yeah.
Because with what I've seen, does Kevin do most of the raising of Ethel? Because it seems like V never interacts with Ethel this entire episode.
Yeah, no, I think V was just looking at it as from pragmatic standpoint, because the bar was losing money. They didn't know how they were going to pay bills, and V just saw it as, okay, well, we take care of this girl, we give her food and shelter, and the state gives us money. She didn't want to get emotionally attached to Ethel at all, where Kevin, his Papa Bear instincts kick in, and wants to actually like care for her. And V's like, it's none of our fucking business, okay? We just do the minimum that's required of us, so we can make ends meet. But Kevin is Kevin. So.
That also does bring up one thought I had watching this episode, and it made me think back to the whole run of this show. We are always under the impression that the alibi is not doing well. That it's losing money.
Never. Mm-hmm.
It is always occupied.
Right.
By 5 to 8 to sometimes a dozen people. It has more people in it than a lot of dive bars I've ever been in.
I got a feeling that
I know they're probably like not doing like great with the bookkeeping, or like, hey, Frank drank more than his Social Security check or disability check, but it still feels like they should be able to be making ends meet.
Yeah,
they have to be. Otherwise, they would have closed sometime in the 11 seasons.
Right.
So I think what happens is there's probably a bit of consequence. I think there's a bit of consequence and rebound that we don't get to experience via the nature of our watch through, where they do all right for a bit. Something bad happens to put them under. They come back up and save the bar. They maintain for a little while. They drop down for 4 or 5 episodes. Something happens. They're fine for a couple episodes. I'm guessing it comes and goes in waves.
In real life, I've known plenty of people who are like perpetually on the edge of losing everything. Just kind of barely. Fuck, I'm that guy, actually.
I wasn't going to say it.
I was going to say it out loud.
Just perpetually barely keeping my head above water. Yeah, so I can totally understand how this would work. Oh, God, I'm going to go cry. So That's all good. I'm fine. I'm used to it. All right, so I did have a question.
Sheila. Oh, go ahead.
Is every house in Chicago right next to the L train? Because I noticed that in like every nighttime scene, when someone's trying to sleep, there's always a train going by the fucking window.
They all seem to be these houses are very close to each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess that's just the South Side. I guess property values are shit, so that's why maybe.
Well, property values are going to be shit anywhere where the train keeps you up at night.
Right.
So that is the target demographic of the show's participants, characters. Characters. So that makes sense that they would all have to live by trains, regardless of how close they may or may not be. And I do think you're right, Ben. I do think they are all close. Yeah. So Sheila is trying to go through photo albums with Frank's mom from the staircase.
She is being awful.
She is a fucking nightmare.
Yeah. And it's just also another thing that I can't believe I never noticed about this show. Everyone's drinking Old Style, and I looked it up, and apparently that's an actual beer. I don't know if you just can't get them here in Texas, but I've never seen it before. Do you guys have Old Style up there in your neck of the woods? No?
Not that I recall.
Yeah, weird. Okay.
I'll keep an eye out for it. I'm sure it's in the section of stuff that I don't drink.
Yeah,
but
it's. I imagine it's probably right next to Ice House and Lone Star. So
I don't know either of those.
Really,
but we've got Hams. Do you have Hams, the beer refreshing?
I've heard of it. I don't think I've ever.
It's like $15 for a 30-pack.
Wow.
It's actually not that bad. I definitely drink it over a Bud or Miller.
Huh. Yeah. No. I feel like Lone Star is probably the best bad beer that I've ever had. So.
Do you have Milwaukee's Best down there?
I do have Milwaukee's Best. I didn't like it.
Do you have Milwaukee's Best Ice?
I didn't know that exists.
The Beast. Yeah. Yeah, that's a rough beer. Beer. I'm using air quotes for beer.
Air quotes for beer.
I don't know. It might be a malt
and
beverage.
you probably won't be able to get it soon. But the worst beer I ever had was the Walgreens brand beer.
Walgreens has a what?
It had a beer. I was in college. It was $3 for a 6-pack.
Oh God!
One of my buddies and I were just like, "Man, we're in college. Like, we are drinking like bottom,
right?
Yeah,
basement, like cheapest stuff. How bad can it be?" It was so bad we couldn't finish a can.
Wow. For some reason, I imagine it having a very medicine-y, like, rubbing alcohol taste.
It was just garbage.
It's the expired isopropyl alcohol that they couldn't sell is how they make
They
that,
just
actually.
carbonate it and throw it in a can.
Yeah, they take all the expired sodas and all of the leftover bits from the bottle return and
That's a fucking
add some
business plan
isopropyl
right there,
alcohol and sell it
Awesome.
as Walgreens brand beer. Actually, it wasn't available at any location besides that one, Ben. That was the quite literal
Right.
manager special. He was making it in the back room.
Listeners in the Discord, let us know, what is your favorite bad beer? Let's get a poll going.
We learn Frank doesn't know that Ian is gay at this point or anything else that is going on in the house as he's driving Peggy to Dr. Pitts. And she just does not give a solitary fuck.
Yeah.
Also, I don't know if you guys noticed, they're in traffic, and one of the guys in traffic next to them totally spikes the camera.
What does he do?
So, spiking the camera is something you're never supposed to do. When you are on a show, you do not look directly into the camera.
Oh, right,
because
yeah.
it immediately
Yeah.
breaks the fourth wall.
Right.
Yeah. I've always heard it shooting one down the barrel.
Yeah.
Nice.
Which now is just called doing an Alec Baldwin.
Oh, that,
was
was a murder
bad.
joke, Ben.
That was bad.
Oh, that
oh, I just got it.
yikes.
Oh man, I just saw a meme about that the other day.
Fucking-
Apparently he did an appearance on Sesame Street, and there was a meme from it showed him talking to Grover, and Grover looking around to make sure there's no loaded guns on set. Anyway, yeah, okay.
Also, I
That
looked it
is-
up. The Walgreens beer was Big Flats.
Big shut the fuck up. Big flats.
Let's.
And it had the tagline, and I never forgot this. It's the water that makes it. And I'm like, yeah, that's
No
how beer
way.
works.
Oh my god. Well, you know what? I'm gonna head up to next time I have to go pick up my prescriptions. I'm gonna ask the manager if they
Get
have
you some
big
big
flats.
flats.
Yeah, order me
I
some
would.
big
I wouldn't
flats.
recommend it, Vic, for a number of reasons. But I commend your aspiration. To
It's for the
try.
show, man. It's for the listeners. So,
Frank tries
Okay,
to bring
so-
up. Oh,
go ahead.
No, go ahead.
one important. So Frank tries to bring up, like, hey, do you want to know anything about the kids? And she's like, I don't give a shit about that. And it's just like, oh, being stuck in a car with a grandma who doesn't care about her family. This brings back memories.
Oh, Ben. Oh, man. Well,
Xhafer is very vehemently like, I'm not saying nothing.
not touching it. Yeah, cool.
No, but I wasn't gonna touch it, Ben. No. No,
Yeah, well.
I wasn't gonna.
Yeah.
Steve
we,
rolls in with Estefania,
Yep, they
and
meet
he
up for
is
the
just,
double date.
yeah, he's just the fucking worst. Well, he's second worst because Frank. Well, actually, I'm going to
I think Fee
revise.
is the worst in this.
Well, Peggy's the fucking worst.
oh, Peggy is the worst. Yeah.
To the point where I feel like I have to revise my comments from most of this series, insisting that Frank is the worst because Peggy might actually be the worst.
The worst. She's the worst in the world.
Adam, I think, is Fiona's boyfriend here.
Yes.
Yeah,
He
who we
saw him
saw.
once
Well.
before.
Yeah.
He says, "Aren't we all modern?"
Yes.
What the hell does that mean?
Because he's
Because they're meeting
going out
exes.
yeah, he's going out to dinner with my girlfriend and her ex,
Okay. Yeah,
which
that
is
was
weird.
That was a weird thing to say. Yeah, I wouldn't have done it. I would have been me, Victor, 10 years ago, who had less confidence and self-esteem, might have agreed to this. But right now, I'd be like, no, fuck you, go by yourself.
If I did, it sure wouldn't be under the circumstances that exist between Fiona and Steve currently.
Yes.
If things had resolved and were amicable, sure.
Well, you know,
But-
Adam. I don't think Adam knows the whole story.
He for sure doesn't.
Yeah.
He for sure doesn't, and neither does because Fiona doesn't. As we find out, as Steve goes into the women's bathroom when she heads over
Yeah.
there.
And as Fiona leaves, she kisses Adam at Steve.
Yeah,
gives him a big fuck you kiss.
yeah. And Steve catches Fiona and us up on his escapades from the last several episodes, presumably, and they begin to start to bang it out. in the bathroom here.
They have some angry fucking.
Before cooler heads prevail. Adam immediately knows what's going on and is just like, bye.
Very rightfully leaves.
Yes.
Fuck you. 100% the correct move, Adam. You deserve better than this. I know nothing about you except that you deserve better than this.
I love how Estefania is just blissfully ignorant of everything that's going on.
Yeah.
Either that or she knows exactly what's going on and just doesn't give a fuck, but she's
I'm
just
thinking the latter.
enjoying herself.
Yeah.
But also, this is the part that makes me just like really mad at Fiona, because she dodged the bullet that is Steve. Mm-hmm. And has Adam, who is, from what I can tell, just kind of bland, but is an investment banker who seems interested in her, is taking her out to a really nice restaurant. Mm-hmm. Like, you could do like so much worse than this, fee. And she's like, yes, and I would like to again. And I'm
Right.
like, okay, then don't waste Adam's time. You are a bad person in this.
Yeah.
For sure.
Well, back at Kevin and V's place, Kevin and Fee overhear Ethel praying for her dirtbag geriatric ex-husband, deceased geriatric ex-husband. And then later, Ethel overhears Kevin and V calling her cult a cult, referring to the Alpha Witch and her sisters in wearing all black, the evil nuns who came to pay her a visit. And
I mean, they're not Sith Lords, they're in mourning, but yes.
The Sith Witches.
They are called the Night Sisters, okay?
Oh, the Night Sisters.
Sorry,
Star
actually,
Wars.
Ben, I believe they're called the Night Sisters of Dathomir.
Darth.
As Dathomir, they added the R after the courtship of Princess Leia was published in the extended universe. You fucking no cred nerd.
How long ago was that? How long ago was the courtship of Princess Leia?
That was a Legends book from the mid-90s, I want to say.
Wow. Okay, cool. I was wondering.
Which is
So
not their
when-
first appearance of the witches.
Okay.
There's a Force witch in the Endor, the Battle of the Ewoks, the Battle of Endor.
The old movie? I just recently watched that. Oh, that's a great one.
Second one.
Not
Escape from Endor. Battle for Endor. Yeah.
Battle for Endor. But that is not a Night Sister of Dathomir. It is a Force witch who's later retconned into being a Night Sister. Anyways, Ben and I once competed against each other in Star Wars trivia.
Oh, nice.
I believe we finished tied. We each got one wrong, worth the same amount of points. And we each had half of the answer of the final. And so the lesson was, if we had just worked together,
Yeah.
we could have run the house and gotten 100% correct.
I feel like that's a reoccurring thing between you two.
Yeah, a little
Like
bit,
if you
yeah.
just would have worked together.
All I know
Fine.
is when Ian is doing his Jedi makeouts, it's with a Night Sister of Darth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, Granny asks Pitts for her 200K, or else she's gonna tell the wife and kids about his past. Mm-hmm. He doesn't have it, and that's not
Because
good
who
enough
does?
for her.
No
shit,
one
who
does.
just keeps 200K just lying around?
200K laying around is a lot of money to
don't-
not be making money with.
I feel
You
like
should be
even
doing
if you're
something
a fucking,
with that much money.
even if you're a drug dealer, especially if you're a drug dealer, you don't even have that much money in cash lying around, you know?
No, you should never have that much money in cash lying around unless you're a bank.
Yeah. Then we cut over to
That's
the
some
parking
actual
lot.
investing advice, y'all.
Yeah. We cut over to the parking lot where they're sitting in the truck, Frank and Peggy.
Mm-hmm.
And Peggy steals her son's ice cream.
Yep. Yep. She's bossing Frank around.
Yeah. And she stole the family photo from the doctor's office,
Yeah.
and they go stalking his kids at the softball park or the soccer or playground.
She has an episode of something here that causes her to send Frank away to fill a prescription. But he just goes to Pitt for whatever money he actually has. Mm-hmm. And Frank takes the $75K from him.
Mm-hmm. When they are fighting in the park, though, Peggy does bring up a point that now getting this added context of who Frank's mom is and seeing the rackets and stuff that Frank's kids get up to later, she is right. Frank is awful at being a criminal. He's terrible at this. His mom was way better, and his kids are better. And it's just like, he is a disappointment as a petty criminal.
Yeah. Dude, Carl and Debbie are way better at it than he is.
Yeah, for sure.
They actually turn profit on the regular.
He has had one successful racket, as far as I can tell, his entire life, and that is Ginger Social Security checks. But yeah, Frank takes $75K and leaves. Malik and Ethel go for a walk with their kids and talk about Steph.
Hey, you got to do what's best for Jonah, the baby.
Yeah. Yeah, you're not a kid anymore. You're 14. You have to take care of your kid.
God, that is so horrible.
Frank gives his mom $50K and then asks for a cut. And she calls him an idiot. Rightfully so.
Yeah, so the way she waxes poetically about how every day she waited for a phone call from the hospital to say that there's a big mix-up and Frank is not really her son. Oh, my God. Like, Louise Fletcher, God rest her soul, she knew how to play a bitch.
I have no anecdotes that I'm aware of her as a real person. I hope she's just a fucking gem and a sweetheart.
I get that vibe, definitely.
You don't work just that
channels
much
it
if you're
all.
not.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's true.
Especially not in a situation like this. Like, you don't see John Malkovich, like, being, like, lauded and, like, showing up on guest spots and stuff. He's famously hard to work with. And also completely nuts.
Yeah.
Good actor.
And you know, fan bases, especially in, you know, sci-fi and fantasy, deservedly have a reputation for being toxic. And I do know the actor who played Joffrey got a lot of hate and conventions and shit because people couldn't separate the actor from the character. So, yeah.
I will say, that's not just sci-fi fandoms.
Yeah.
My mom, I remember, absolutely hating. Oh, why am I blanking on her real name?
Character.
Rachel from Friends.
Jennifer Aniston.
Jennifer Aniston.
Oh.
Because she hated Rachel so much. And I'm just like, Mom, it's a character she's playing. That's not Jennifer Aniston. She's like, I don't care. Like, I hate her. It's just like, she's just a blonde lady from Hollywood. Like, you don't know this woman.
Yeah. Oh, well.
V gets caught up on Steve and his bullshit.
Yeah.
And
folding laundry over a bucket of chicken.
Yep. Granny is driving home with Frank, and she stabs him for the rest of the money.
Yeah.
Fucking stabs him with a screwdriver while he's driving.
Yep. He hands over another 10, and then she gets the other 15. Frank regresses
gives up all
again.
the money. Yeah. And then she says, you know, she gets her heart rate is up, so she says, you know, pass me my prescription. And then Frank has to confess that he never refilled her prescription like he was supposed to. And oh my God, the look of disappointment that Louise Fletcher shot Frank at this scene right here.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God, that gave me chills, dude. Sure, fucking just her eyes. Just the look of just disdain. My God.
Louise Fletcher is so good. The like acting skill required to pull that off.
Well, we got two Oscar winners in a truck with a screwdriver.
Fucking screwdriver.
Lip is haunting outside the wedding reception for Karen and Jody. Sheila finds an excuse to go upstairs as Steve and Estefania show up.
Why were they invited?
Yeah. How did
I'm sure they
even-
weren't, but he brought a Cuisinart, so you know.
Yeah, Lip was downing a 6-pack, or it looked like probably a 12-pack, smoking cigarettes outside the house. Was waiting to crash the wedding.
The strength it took to watch this show.
Oh, with
and
all
not
the
smoke a
cigarettes?
cigarette.
My God,
Man,
they chain
I've
smoked
been
the fuck out of
jonesing
this
for
show.
weeks.
Oof.
And it's been 17 years since I quit.
No shit. Huh.
Yeah. And still
That's amazing.
watching this show.
Well, on a slightly similar related note, last week, I did something I hadn't done in 23 years. I smoked weed!
Oh, okay. I was just like, please tell me you had a flared bass, man.
What's a flared bass?
So
That's
you
an
need to have
anal
something
insertion
with
joke.
a flared base, so it doesn't just go all the way up into your rectum.
Oh,
Yeah,
that.
you need something to stop it from.
To stop it.
Yeah.
Bigger than the sphincter.
Yeah.
No, I went out and I bought a bong from a glass store, and I was super surprised that you could still
Is
get
it
a
legal
cheap
down
bong.
there now?
No,
We might have to bleep some of this out.
I don't care, dude. No one's gonna fucking. But yeah, no, it's I was super surprised that you could still buy a cheap bong for $20. And it was pretty decent quality. So,
Victor, here I get to tell you one of my favorite stories.
yeah,
A few years ago, doing LARP stuff with Xhafer, he and several of my other friends, we made ourselves armor, leather
Yeah.
armor, because we were all paladins, and that was our characters. We were
Doing the
warriors of light,
Yeah.
good guys, doing good guy stuff. Because when you do LARPs, everybody wants to be a dark, dirty edgelord character.
Really?
There's
I'm
so much of that. Yeah.
I'm the sneakiest rogue, and I'll backstab anyone. And we're just like, what this game, like, we're supposed to be having, like, big battles and everything. There are nobody playing good guys. Let's just play some good guys. Because
plenty of targets. Yeah, to
and
Well,
not
it's also
even
just
like
fun.
heroes, just like decent people.
yeah,
oh, not
we've all,
assassins, not thieves, not
No,
Yeah.
yeah. And like we actually had to make a rule for our group that your character can't have dead parents. And we jokingly said, your character can't have dead parents unless you have dead parents. And that was funny until one kid showed up and he's like, and my parents are dead. And we're like, hey, you can't have dead parents unless you do have dead parents. He's like, my parents are dead. Yeah. And we're just like,
Yeah.
okay, that joke is done now.
Yeah,
But it was just
yeah.
like, everybody wanted to play an edgy loner character because it's, baby's first fantasy epic. And so...
Okay. Okay, quick question though.
yeah.
Finish your thing. Sorry.
So, we're making armor. It takes a long time. We're,
Yeah.
cutting
Yeah.
leather and rounding the edges and stamping it and sewing
All
it all
kinds of stuff.
together.
Yeah.
Rivets and, like, all sorts of stuff. I've got it in my closet. And
understand.
while we were doing this, because it's like, we're spending, like, 8 hours every weekend for a few weeks doing this. Xhafer and some of our other friends had taken up pipe smoking because it's a fun thing to do, like, around a campfire. And I was just like, I'm tired of borrowing, like, bumming somebody's pipe when we go outside and just, like, actually, like, smoke tobacco. And so I was just like, I know there's a tobacco shop here in town. I'll head over there. I don't care if it's a $5 corncob pipe. I just want to have something I can bring there for the next couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And so I walk in and I'm like, hello, salesman. I would like to buy a pipe. And the guy behind the thing is just like, you looking for some glass? And I'm like, no, like a tobacco pipe. We don't have those. I'm just like,
Oh, that's funny.
all right.
Yeah. Well, I do got to say, I don't see myself picking this up as a habit because I immediately remembered why I stopped when I was a teenager because I just don't like the smoky feeling in my throat, and the high you get is just not. It's not enough for me to justify the unpleasantness that comes along with it. But
Man,
Anyway.
gummies are real.
I might get addicted to gummies. I can see that happening because I love me some gummy bears as it is.
I
You got to be
avoided-
careful because you
Yeah.
can only have a little bit, Vic. You can't just eat a bag. You'll have a bad time.
Yeah.
I
And
avoided marijuana
in local
for a long
news,
time.
a man overdosed on gummy bears today. Yeah, I can see that happening.
I
No, but
avoided
I do have
marijuana for a long time because I was
Yeah.
once at a friend's house while she went and had, smoked, and then came back and had the munchies. And what she did was she made an entire box of microwavable pierogi, opened up a can of frosting, and started scooping frosting into her mouth with pierogi.
Ew. Yeah, that sounds like some
And I'm
stoner
just like-
food if I ever heard it.
Hard pass.
Whatever does that to your brain, I don't want it.
Right. So I do have a quick question about LARPing.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just have to know this. So when you're out there and you got your guys playing the edgy rogues and the thieves.
Yeah.
How does it work when they're stealthing? Do they?
Oh,
In our game, it doesn't.
yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Okay. So,
Yeah, there's no hide unless you can physically hide, which Ben and I have done before. One of my favorite
I hid in
stories.
a
So
bush.
there's all kinds of different types of battles, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes it's like big groups, and it's like you're just in a big melee press, and it's like
It's like
kind of
Braveheart.
what you see in the movies. Yeah.
Okay.
But sometimes there's things where you're like controlling points, and there's big areas to wander around. And sometimes there's like little trails and stuff. And Ben and I were
woods.
in one of those. We're in the woods. There's a little trail between a couple of points, and we camp up at a place to kind of defend from any scouts trying to make their way. I got a flail and a tower shield,
Giant
Ben-
fuck-off shield.
just a giant fuck off shield. And Ben has a spear that's about 8 feet long.
Wow.
I post up in the middle of the trail, like out in front of everyone, right? And I am standing about 2.5 feet behind a bush, like that is 5 feet to my side, where Ben is hiding with his 8-foot spear.
Drop in, hiding in
so-
a bush is not illegal.
And what I was doing, because this might surprise you, Victor, but I have a bit of a repertoire, a bit of a propensity to talk shit.
No.
And so, no, not you. And so I'm sitting there, and whenever anyone rolls up, I just start talking shit from like when they're like 20 yards out. I'm like, you don't want to come this way. You're going to get fucking killed. And it's like 3 dudes, right? And they're all like, whatever, one guy with a tower shield. We're not scared of you. I'm all like, dude, all 3 of you are going to die. I'm not even going to have to swing my fucking flail. You all suck. Right? And they're all like, no, we're going to get you. And they start coming in. And I'm all like, I just take 2 steps back. Like I back up a little bit until they're just right. Ben pops out and stabs all 3 of them in the back. And I just sit there having not swung. They're all dead. And I'm just all like, told you fuckers, go back to the res. And we did that for like, I feel like we did that a couple of times. We did it for like 20 minutes. We hung
Until
out
we
at that
got
spot.
bored, and then we just went completely like. We went all the way towards their respawn point, ended up behind them, like behind their whole team, and we were just like, okay, like, what do we do now? And we just like ran up behind a bunch of people, and they were like, oh, hey, you're on our team. We're like, hey, we're just being very clear. We are not on your team. We've circled all the way around.
Everyone's wearing armbands that say what team you're on, and we're just like, no, we are not on your team, dude. We have never been on your team. And it's like, we weren't dicks about it. We didn't just like, hey, surprise fuckwads.
You didn't spawn
We're
camp
like,
them.
hey, we are behind you, and you don't want us to be. And then we just fought a bunch of them until we died.
Yeah.
Oh my god, you guys were farming kills out in LARPing.
Yeah.
Oh, that's epic. Yeah, that makes me want to get back into shape and actually do that. Okay.
It was a lot of fun,
note of
but
that later.
it sounds exhausting now in my late 30s.
This episode's going
So-
to be called LARPing with Kai Wynn. Oh man, so where were we? Did we
Karen
get
tries
the-
to encourage her mom to hang out downstairs, and
Oh yeah,
gives
we're
her
at, we're
a
at
bit of a
Karen and
gas up.
Joding's wedding reception.
Yep.
And Sheila decides instead, I'm going to drink on meds.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. She slams a bunch of pills, slams a couple of glasses of wine.
Yep.
Frank is limping throughout the wedding reception from his stab wound in his leg.
Yep. Lip is drunk and decides to go in, and everyone that everyone doesn't want to see. Allow me to retake that. Everyone that everyone doesn't want to see is now at this reception. Great time, y'all.
Yep. And here we get the scene that made this episode. We get the scene that made the series, I have to say, dude. If you're going to watch Shameless, watch it for this one episode, and specifically this one scene where Sheila comes down.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
When she gives the fucking unhinged wine and pill-fueled speech at her daughter's wedding.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Sheila starts to toast the couple, but it goes sideways real quick, and it ends with Peggy being told that, quote, her coochie smells of brimstone and fire, and then she pulls a fucking gun.
I will fuck you up, waving a pistol in the middle of the house. Guys, I have to say, I cannot decide. But I do know that I'm going to clip the audio from this scene. But I can't decide if I want my ringtone to be, you're a loud, mean, vicious bitch, or your coochie smells of brimstone and sulfur. I can't decide which one of those.
I mean, both, and you just give the first one to someone special.
Yeah. God, I could watch... Go ahead. I was just going to say, I could watch a whole-ass movie of just Louise Fletcher versus Joan Cusack. Just the two of them going at it.
I'd watch that movie.
Louise Fletcher's gun does go off, shooting the smoke alarm.
Yeah. Steve saves the day. He dives in, grabs the gun.
And Frank is like, this is my chance. And he calls the cops. And he's just like, she's going back to jail. She's a felon with a firearm. Like, we got it, man. We got it. And then Tony is there at the wedding for some reason and walks out and is just like, hey, cop guys, don't worry.
It's fine.
We're all fine here. Everything's good.
Yep.
They would not leave like this.
Yeah, I don't think so. Yeah, I don't. Especially not Chicago cops, dude. Maybe small town cops would you could get away with this, but not in a big city like Chicago.
Like they'll walk
especially on the
away if
south
it was
side.
just like, oh, Tony, you just beating up your wife, you know. But,
Oh, that's harsh but true. Ugh, scary, but yeah. Sends the cops away. Frank's heart is broken.
which I also don't know why they sent the cops away. Why does anybody care about protecting Peggy?
Right.
Yeah. Lip talks with Karen outside where he asks her to get an abortion.
Though this
She
does
rightfully
show,
smacks him.
Yeah,
this
Karen slaps
retroactively
the
shows some growth with how
Yes.
he acts about pregnancy later.
kid. Yeah,
Yes.
that's good.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like, having seen it later, it's, I don't want to say good to see it now, but it's noteworthy. Ethel
is
packs
packing
up. Yep. As Kevin really, really tries to be there for her.
Yeah, poor dumb Kevin.
And
Papa
Ethel
Bear.
drops the, like, and thank you, Mr. Kevin, for everything. We really appreciate it. I'm just like, how is every alarm bell in your brain not going off right now?
Poor dumb
yeah.
Kevin.
Everybody, hi, this is Ben, your internet dad.
But I'm not a daddy.
And I'm your daddy.
If somebody you are taking care of, a child, a ward of the state, a compromised podcast partner who's too drunk at a Star Trek convention, if they start talking and waxing poetical and saying, like, speaking in finalities, do not leave that person alone. Post
true.
up outside their room. Like, hang out with them. Be with them. Don't go downstairs and just talk to your wife and be like, yeah, that was weird.
Yeah, man. It's funny because, Ethel about to run away. I'm reminded of Ben when I had that dream of Henry running away, your son. Before he was born, I had a dream that Henry was going to run away and knock on my door and ask for my dog to be able to go with him as he was running away.
That's
the actual dream I had before the child was born. And I was all like, no, it's too late for Puff to go outside. You have to spend the night so you can run away tomorrow morning. And that's how I got him to spend the night. And then I called them and let them know that he was sleeping at our place, that he'd be fine.
Well, that's sweet of you, Dreams Affair.
Yeah. it's very funny because that's so far removed from anything that could possibly happen because Ben's son has such crippling anxiety, even as a 6-year-old, that he can't be out of his parents' sight for more than 30 seconds without freaking out.
We're able to drop him off at sports camp. He's fine.
Mm-hmm.
If he is doing a thing, I've noticed there's a very specific pattern. If he leaves you, it's okay. If you leave him, it's not okay.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Anyways, Frank can't bring himself to kill his mom in the next scene. She's sleeping. He's got her gun, just sitting there, pointing the pistol at her while she's sleeping.
This was a fucking dark scene, man. Even for this show, like, damn.
But there's light coming in the window.
Yes. Thank you, Ben.
Well, there has to be enough light to see what's going on. Otherwise, it would have just been a blank screen and wouldn't have helped
That's not
anyone.
true. You can do a night vision scene like they did in Rollerball.
Oh, that's a
Wait.
fair point.
Oh, are you talking about the original Rollerball? Or
No, I'm talking
No.
about
that
the
horrible
remake.
ass remake? Yeah. Yeah. Oh man. I'm saving that.
We
for a
don't have
different
time to
podcast.
talk about the
No,
Rollerball
Yeah.
remake.
Let's okay.
Save it for a bonus episode.
There we go. Okay. Okay.
This is where Fiona finds out that Steve is actually Jimmy.
Mm-hmm.
And then this episode feels like Return of the King, because I feel like it should have ended twice already, but it has
Right.
3 more endings.
Yeah, it does.
Ethel vanishes. Carl gets an Xbox. Debbie gets a laptop, and Fiona gets to cuss out Steve.
Peggy
And
bribes Fiona
$500.
with $500. Yep.
Yeah, she's bribing everyone.
Jody replaces the smoke detector.
Yep. Karen gets her dad's life insurance. Frank flips on Jody. Sheila asks him to leave. Kev calls the social worker as V finds Ethel's note. Her and Malik ride off with a wad of cash from some drugs that she had sold, presumably
Yeah.
through Malik's friends we see at the end there.
Well, what happened to her was that when they first adopted Ethel, she knows a lot about gardening and homesteading from living in the cult.
Okay.
And previously, Kevin, as a hobby, I guess, was growing weed in the basement of the Alibi, and
As one will.
Ethel gave him some pointers on how to properly garden, and he just over the course of a couple episodes grew a fuck ton of weed with Ethel's homesteading skills. And it was so much weed, Veronica, when she found out about it, she was like, "Oh hell no! This is way too much fucking weed. This is like federal prison time." Yeah, she's like, "Get rid of this shit." So Frank and the Gallaghers all got together, and they gathered up all the marijuana plants and had a big bonfire in the backyard. And like the hobos underneath the track were just getting fucking contact eyes from all the smoke. It was pretty hilarious. But Kevin couldn't bring himself to burn all of it, so he grabbed a couple of trash bags and stuffed a few plants in there and then buried them in the backyard. And yeah, that's what Ethel dug up.
I don't know specifically about the marijuanas, but if you were to take any plant that was alive and had moisture and
bury it, yeah.
and then bury it in a plastic bag, it would be gross and moldy.
Yeah, I imagine so. I don't know.
I mean, meh. Anyways,
hey, listeners, hop in the Discord list. Have you ever?
We don't
your
need to
own
know
weed?
about this one, listeners.
Hey, come on, man! It's for your spreadsheet. It's for your database there.
Frank goes to yell at Peggy. She's unbothered. She sends him on errands. And then Fiona goes and greets her dad on the porch and commiserates. She understands her parents suck too.
Did you guys catch the after credit scene?
No, I even waited like 3 or 4 credits. I thought
It was a little bit. I just noticed just because the next episode button didn't pop up, so I fast forwarded a bit.
That's what I waited for. Frank is in the van with Carl and is again peeing.
They're sleeping in the van because Frank doesn't want to sleep in the house with his mother in there, and and Carl wakes up and he's like, "Frank, you peed the bed." And he's just like, "Carl, just move to a dry spot."
Ugh.
Yeah. So that was it. That was Can I Have a Mother? Oh man,
All right. Well, we are
that's pretty amazing.
we're at the end. We've done Shameless.
This is it. We did it.
Which means that it's time to our scores. We've tallied. We got them all finalized last episode.
Yes, we
and
did.
We've had something happen
It happened again.
No,
that
it happened the
hasn't
first
happened
time.
before.
It almost happened again. Because I remember this almost happened with Stargate.
It almost happened with Stargate. It did not. But this time, we have a tie. Victor and I are tied.
Yes.
And we find ourselves at an interesting impasse because Ben is also about to leave the country for several weeks.
Don't ask.
So,
Yep.
so Victor and I discussed, Ben, and we are proposing a novel solution to our novel problem.
Yeah.
You guys
Yeah.
are going to do a book club? Read the Shameless novelization?
Oh, no, we're going to have a duel.
We're gonna have a duel. We're gonna do a last time on duel. We have
Exactly,
picked a 1-season TV show. We're going to watch the premiere, a random episode in the middle, and the finale.
Bonus round!
It's something that you've seen.
Mm-hmm.
And whoever gets the most points out of the 2 rounds of predictions that we make
Oh,
in
yeah, it
the
is only
first
gonna
2
be 2 rounds.
episodes
Yep, 2 rounds of predictions. Okay.
will
This is
pick
gonna be
the
interesting.
next show. So Victor and I are going to speed run The Adventures of Briscoe County Jr.
Oh, hell yeah! Hail to the king, baby.
I have been meaning to rewatch this show for a long time. So I am real excited about this, and I know that you've rewatched it recently, Ben, so you wouldn't be eligible based off of the terms and conditions of last time on. So we're going to do it, and we'll be able to talk about it. If you make it back in time for us to record the finale, you're more than welcome to join us, of course. But it's just going to be Vic and I for the first couple of weeks, for the next couple of weeks. We're taking a week off instead of 2 weeks off like we normally take. So we're taking a week off. We'll be back with the premiere of Briscoe County Jr., a random episode, the finale. Then we're going to take another week off after that to prep for whatever we're going to be doing in August.
Yeah.
Well, maybe
Ben holding up
Viper,
the
Ben.
fangs.
We'll
Might
see.
be. Who knows?
We'll see who wins and what they choose.
Stay tuned, listener.
Yeah,
Stay tuned.
it's exciting. We'll see what happens. I'm excited to do a 1-season show because this is something that I have like a whole list of shows that were proposed to us, and I've had to say that they are too short a ton of times.
yeah.
Which is a bummer when it's
Yeah,
just
you
like
know,
really cool stuff
Same thing.
that never found its legs.
Same thing,
Yeah.
and it really sucks with this era of modern television where there's so many new shows coming out that only last like 6 to 8 episodes. The LTO formula just doesn't work because
You
then
really need
yeah.
40, 50 episodes
But
in order
yeah,
to get any
but that
kind of
works
ground.
because there's a ton of shows out there over the past few decades that none of us have seen. So
Yeah.
a lot of them, people tell me like, "Oh, you need to see this." Yeah,
Well, I'm excited
you
mostly
guys seen
because
Lost?
this means
You guys seen Lost, haven't you?
no.
Lost? Yeah. I watched
Yeah.
Lost as it aired.
I feel like I'm the only person who hasn't seen Lost.
I've never seen Lost.
Ben just said no.
Well, me and Ben are the only people who haven't seen Lost. So.
But I'm excited because, one, I'm excited to talk about Briscoe County Jr. with you guys when I get back.
Yeah.
And two, this means my favorite TV show is in play. This means at some point in the future I can subject you guys to the 100 Lives of Blackjack Savage.
Oh right, yes.
It's true.
Have I talked about that
You
on
gotta
pod?
find that. I don't know if it was on Pod. You mentioned it to me before.
Yes, it is a...
Who was in that? I remember there was a famous actor that you mentioned. Who's in that?
There's no...
It's not actually.
It's not famous actors. Well, it is a story about a guy who is a very, very clear adaptation of 1990s Donald Trump, who has to run because all of his financial crimes are caught, and he goes to an island run by a dictator, where he moves into a haunted castle that is haunted by the ghost of a black pirate who killed 100
Right.
people in his life, and so he is condemned to save 100 lives. And so the black pirate, Donald Trump, use a stealth boat that is like their version of Knight Rider to try and save lives so that they can both buy their souls out of hell.
Jesus, this sounds so fucking cheesy. It's amazing.
And it was
Okay.
so hyped that Michael Eisner, president of Disney, did bumpers for it on ABC, where he's like, "We're super proud of this. We know you're going to love it. Let me tell you guys, here comes the 100 Lives of Blackjack Savage."
There's only 7 episodes.
I think there's more than that.
I'm looking it up. I'm looking it up on IMDb. It says only 7 episodes.
That might be right then.
Yeah. Wow. Tobin Bell was a guest star on this. What's his name?
Jigsaw.
Jigsaw. Yeah. Tobin Bell was in this, and so was Mary Kay Adams, who was, I believe, she was Natoth in Babylon 5. Who did she play? Yeah, she was one of the Natoths. Yeah.
Not Julie Caitlin Brown.
Yeah.
And
Okay,
Roma Downey
wow.
is a major character.
Well, good luck finding this streaming anywhere.
Well, we don't have to worry about that now.
Yep.
But it's something to keep in mind for later. But something else to keep in mind for later, for you, listener,
For you,
is
listen.
to go listen to Ripe. Thanks for letting
you,
us
Ripe.
use Goon Squad. We appreciate the hell out of it. They're on tour this summer. Go find them. Go watch them. Go listen to them wherever you listen to music. They're fucking great. We love you guys. Thanks so much.
And thank you to you, the listener. Thank you for making it this far. If you enjoy our show, please leave us a review on iTunes or Facebook. It really helps out the show. And if you do, we'll give you a shout out. And if you don't like our show, just shut up and keep that shit to yourself.
And feel free to join us over at the Last Time On Listener Lounge on Facebook, or shoot us an email at lasttimeonpodcast@gmail.com.
Last time on pod.
lasttimeonpod@gmail.com. Or join us over on the Discord. Lots of really fun stuff going on over at the Discord, including pictures of Xhafer and I as part of epic film charges. And just lots of really fun jokes and memes. And we'll see you next time on Last Time On.